Hi, I'm Curtis Knight. I got a call from Bob last night, and he asked about what a real estate agent looks at when they're getting ready to accept an offer. And I said, do you want me to put together a quick video for your team? And he said, I would be so grateful. So here it is. So as a real estate agent, listing agent, do you automatically recommend the highest offer? Answer is no, almost never, because there are a lot of things to consider. And here they are. Number one, nearly every homeowner believes that their property is worth more than it is. This is background information that you need going in so you can understand the nature of the beast. Two, nearly every homeowner can give you reasons why their property is worth more than it is. So sellers of real estate desperately need realtors to help them through the process. And nationwide statistics published by the NAR, National Association of Realtors, shows that FSBOs, F-S-B-O, for sale by owner, typically net 13% less than people who use real estate agents with the real estate agent commission factored in. So nearly every homeowner, this is number three, nearly every homeowner looks at the offers that have come in and they ask very excitedly if they can take the highest dollar offer. They have no reason, no education, no background to look deeper and figure out what the terms and conditions are. And they don't know that we don't look for the strongest dollar amount. We're actually looking for the strongest buyer. That's what you're looking for when you're a realtor. So as a listing agent, what should I consider before recommending the best, strongest offer to my client, the seller? A rookie agent will often pick the highest dollar amount and then shrug when the deal falls apart. I'm also a master of ceremonies DJ by trade, and I've been doing weddings for a lot of years. And a rookie disc jockey, and I will tie this in, a rookie disc jockey will suddenly have a packed dance floor. And somebody will come up and say, hey, can I request a song? And every DJ wants to please, wants to do a great job. And they'll ask for a jazz song or a blues song or Afternoon Delight from the Starland Vocal Band. And the DJ will say, absolutely, I'll get it on for you right now. And they put that song on and everybody sits down. And that right there, that one little song destroys the dance floor for the rest of the wedding. It's kind of analogous to the realtor who's dealing with an excited seller. And the seller does the equivalent of saying, hey, can you play Afternoon Delight? But you don't want to do that because there are several terms, conditions, contingencies that affect what offer you should accept. So one of the things you have to look out for when you are a listing realtor is the home inspection. You can't tell somebody not to have one, and you cannot tell the buyer the reason we didn't accept your offer is because you have a home inspection. But behind the scenes, wink, wink, I have heard that a lot of agents that are seller agents tell their sellers, if there's a home inspection, we don't even consider it. They look at the terms and conditions and contingencies, and they say, okay, there's an inspection. The inspection gives you a 10-day window during which you can have the home inspected so you can make an informed decision. There is language that is in the template that all the offers are written on. The offer is the contract to purchase real estate. That's what you submit as a buyer agent. You submit that on behalf of your buyer to the seller agent. And in that offer, it's also known as the contract to purchase real estate. We call it the offer. In the offer, if you look down to where I have highlighted this excerpt, if results are not satisfactory to buyer in buyer's sole discretion, that means by law, we can't ask and you can't tell what the reason is that you're going to withdraw from the transaction. Here's the wiggle room. So people use the home inspection as a way to make absolutely sure they can just walk away if they suddenly find out that they're being transferred, or they get cold feet or buyer's remorse, or they just get afraid because they don't think they have enough money, and they've tanked your ability to sell the property because you've pulled it off the market, and now they walk away, which means 95 to 98% of the eyeballs on your property have gone away. So it says, in the sole discretion, buyers shall have the right to give written notice received by the seller or seller's agent by 5:00 p.m. on the calendar day after the date set forth above, terminating this agreement. After the date set forth above, see the date right there, January 13, 2022? This is a deal that I was just in. and they wanted to have an inspection of the property. And they had to let us know by the day after the 13th at 5 o'clock. So they had until the 14th at 5. So when I saw the home inspection on the offer that I had just received, I winced because I didn't want to take an offer with a home inspection. And my phone rang, and the buyer agent said, don't pay attention to the inspection clause. We're not using it to haggle price, I promise you. So this is where a little bit of trust comes in. And she said, they just want to make sure there's nothing catastrophic wrong with the property. They're not going to haggle. They're not going to negotiate. I believed her, and she was telling the truth. And that was a $950,000 sale, and it closed last week. So that is the home inspection contingency. Home inspection contingency. Now, cash or no finance contingency. A typical contract to purchase and sale, known as the offer, has language that says if the buyer cannot get financing by a certain date, all money will be returned and the deal is canceled. So waiving the financing contingency can be just as attractive as cash, because now you don't have to wait, and if their financing falls through, it doesn't matter. So that's a big deal. So you look for that when you're examining the offer. The escalation clause. That's another thing that you look for. Some agents like them, some don't. It's about half and half. The escalation clause says, okay, this property is on the market for $500,000. I will beat any offer you get. It used to be by $1,000. Then it went to $2,000. Then it went to $5,000. These days, a really savvy agent will say, we will beat any offer by $10,000. We're going to escalate this. But it's pending. It permits the buyer to say no if the highest offer is just too high. So you put the property on the market for $500,000. The escalation clause comes in and says, we will beat any offer you get by $10,000. So they receive an offer. The property's on the market for $500,000. They get an offer for $650,000, $150,000 over. So they call that buyer agent and they say, we have an offer for $650,000, and they have to send it over, let the buyer agent see it. So you have to offer $660,000, and the buyer agent turns to his buyer and says, do you want to go $650,000 for this property? And the buyer says yes. So that brings in, if they're using an LO, a loan officer, a lender, to get the money to buy the home, then we have to worry about the appraisal. The property was on the market for $500,000. I know it says $550,000 in this one, and the estimate came in at $530,000. I'm going to use different numbers because I just said the property's on the market for $500,000. We got an offer for $650,000, and we're beating it by $10,000 as we pledged that we would. So $660,000 is what the lender is going to pay, going to write a check. So we send out the appraiser, and the appraiser says this property is worth $600,000, not $660,000. So we're $60,000 under. Are you going to cover the appraisal gap? So it just started about 2 years ago where seller agents began to call the buyer agent, and I do it when somebody puts in an offer for $100,000 over, which happens all the time on a property that I have listed. I pick up the phone, I call the buyer agent, and I say, would you please resubmit your offer? And in the comments section, please put this verbiage. And I just emailed it over to you, is what I tell them. Buyer agrees to bring the difference in a bank certified check if the property does not appraise at sale price. My eyes are going everywhere because I'm reading it on my screen while I'm talking to you. So they have to cover the appraisal gap. That's another very important term that you're looking for. So as for just looking at, oh, this guy offered $650,000, let's take it. You have to look at, is there an inspection? Is there a home sale contingency? So the home sale contingency means this sale is contingent on the buyer or buyers selling their home and using the proceeds to buy this house. But that can be extraordinarily problematic because you have to trust the seller of that property who's going to use the proceeds to buy this house. Remember, every seller thinks their property is worth more than it is. So if they put it on the market for too high, it will languish. It will sit on the property and nobody will buy it. And then we come to closing day for this property and they didn't get their home sold because they priced it too high. They didn't have a savvy real estate agent, not only that knows that you have to price the property appropriately, but also has the skill to talk the seller of the property off the ledge and convince them, if you do this, your property is worth $500,000. I want to put it on the market for $479,900, and the seller of the property says, I want to put it on for $650,000. If you can't find a way to convince that seller that they're making a mistake and they need to go with the lower number, then all is lost, because it says the sale is contingent on the buyer selling their home and using the proceeds to buy this house. So now they didn't get their home sale sold because they overpriced the home. So you have to consider that. So if you see an offer for $150,000 over, as we started our premise, should I go for the highest dollar amount? No, you should look into the terms, conditions, and contingencies that are part of this offer. Very important, because deals fall apart all the time. And I'm in the middle of one that just fell apart right now. So let me know, because I love Bob Gallagher. If you ever wanted me to come in, if there's any value in the rambling that I just put together for you, if you wanted me to come in, I'd be happy to do it. And I would just sit and we could have subs and soda or whatever. And anybody who has a question, anything you've wanted to know from the realtor's perspective, what are we looking for? One more thing that I just thought. It actually does make a difference when the loan officer calls the seller agent. So when I'm the buyer agent for a property and I submit an offer, I will forward that offer that I just made on the property to my preferred loan officer. And that loan officer picks up the phone and calls the listing agent and says, I want to let you know that I see that you just received an offer from a buyer, and I am the loan officer. You're looking at a pre-qualification, but the pre-qualification that I deliver is on par, as good as, or better than any pre-approval that you will see from most of the lenders out there. And this buyer is a very well, I can't think of the words. This is a very strong buyer who has a great credit score, has a great job. It's an essential job. The job's not going anywhere. So this is a very good option for you to consider. If you have any questions, anything you want to know, please let me know. But I don't foresee any problems going through underwriting. This should be a 30-day close, and it should be very smooth. Just wanted you to know. And thanks for your time. And you do that voice to voice over the phone. And very few loan officers do that. And in the past, when I'm the seller agent and I get a call from the loan officer, that's a huge deal to me. And I'm like, all my attention. I have 15 offers in front of me, and I'm trying to put everything together and figure out which one to recommend to my seller. When I get that call from the loan officer, usually if I have 15 offers, I get one or none. And usually it's none. So that I'd offer you as a takeaway from this little video. And I'll stop talking because you're probably ready to kill yourselves right about now. So, all right, if you have any questions, I left my slide up there so you can have my contact information. And Bob knows how to get in touch with me. You can contact me anytime you want. All of my advice, if I have anything that's worth it to you, it's all free, and I'm happy to give it. All right, good luck. Thanks.